Hi, and welcome to Terry Talks Movies. This time around, I've got a bit of a haul. I've got all the weird and wonderful movies that I've picked up over the last couple of months. Some of them I got news, some of them I got secondhand, all of them I'm going to watch. And there are a few interesting things here, so stick around. I'm going to start with the DVDs because we'll work our way up to the 4Ks. This one is French. Fortunately, it does have an English language track. I've been stung by that before. It's a movie about which I know absolutely zip. It's called Three Kids and Me. And there it is. Apparently the monster is from the Jim Henson workshop. So it's a nice piece of physical monster making. Know nothing about it. There's the back if you speak French. There's a ton of extras, none of which are in English at all, which is going to make them a lot of fun for me. But I thought I'd give it a go for $1. Picked it up at a thrift store. Heard nothing about it beforehand. Don't even know which year it's from. Hang on, let me check and see if it tells me. Nope, absolutely nothing. Though fortunately, there is, as I said, there is an English language track, but there are only French subtitles. May put those on and increase my language skills. But that one I'm going to give it a go. Have you seen this one? Let me know what you think of it if you've seen it, because I've got no bloody idea. Next one's a movie about a Hollywood scandal that happened in real life, and we all love those. It's based on the death of George Reeves, who played Superman in the 1950s, and it's Hollywoodland with Adrian Brody, Ben Affleck, Diane Lane, Bob Hoskins. It's based on the non-fiction book Hollywood Kryptonite, which I've got a copy of up here. I've seen this once before, but I want to check it out again. I may want to do it for a future video, because even though Adrian Brody's a bit hit and miss as an actor, I like the story of how George Reeves was possibly knocked off by the Hollywood studio producer with whose wife he was sleeping. 1950s drama, a little bit James Ellroy-ish or adjacent. I want to watch that one again and maybe work it into a video at some stage. This one I got because I was on a tokusatsu rage, and I picked this up for $2 at an op shop. 3 movies: Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze, and Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Americanized tokusatsu. Probably put that on and watch it at some stage, all 3 of them. The DVDs are in good nick. Each one, fortunately, is on a different disc. He said, flipping it artfully over. Haven't seen any of them, but I used to be a fairly regular viewer of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoons, and I read the comic books. I might give that one a go. This is one of those movie sets that's getting to the point where people in their 30s are nostalgic for their childhoods, and are going to really rave about watching these ones. But yeah, I'll give those a go at some stage. Not sure when, but when I'm in the mood for something a little bit untaxing, I'll give that a go. This one I put it onto the machine, and I had to do the zoom function on the DVD player, because this is a really old version of this movie. It is in widescreen, but it's been formatted for widescreen on a 3:2 ratio. So it's like a thin strip and a 3:2 thing. So I had to do the zoom on it. Krakatoa East of Java. This is from Force Video, one of the defunct Australian video labels. Does say it's in widescreen 1.85:1, but that's a little bit of a fudge. Got a good cast though. You've got people in there like Maximilian Schell, Diane Baker, Brian Keith is pretty good in this, Sal Mineo. The explosion ain't bad. And it's one of those epic adventures of the early 1960s. Almost impossible to find a physical media copy of that movie, at least as far as Australia is concerned. So I picked that up for $1. This one I purchased, and this is the last of the DVDs. I purchased this even though I've just done a video about it, because I wanted a more full version than I had on the digital copy I watched. It is from 1968, Nigel Neal's The Year of the Sex Olympics. This is the BFI DVD of it. There are a ton of good extras on this. It's got a feature-length commentary by Brian Cox from 2003, Nigel Neal in conversation from 2000, Kim Newman introduction, a thing about the costume designs, a gallery of designs and drawings of the original colour swatches. There is a short film, which I haven't seen for a long time as a part of this. It's a thing called Lepetamine, starring Leonard Rossiter, who is also in The Year of the Sex Olympics, about a guy called Joseph Pujol, who was a farter on stage. He could fart La Marseillaise. And they did a short film about him back in 1973. And it stars Leonard Rossiter. I saw it ages ago, but I've now got a physical copy of it. Le Pantomimes is a really interesting short film. A lot of fun. And a really interesting addition to this. And there are a whole bunch of other extras on it as well. Well worth my money. I really wanted to get a copy of this because it's an important piece of classic television from the 1960s. You can go back and watch my video about it if you so choose. Now we move on to the Blu-rays, and first ones I'm going to show you the ones I got really cheaply second-hand. This one's kind of fun, even though the star of it's a bit of an asshole apparently. Very quotable, very funny, and a lot of fun. So I Married an Ex-Murderer with Mike Myers, Nancy Travis, Brenda Frick is in there as well, Amanda Plummer, Anthony LaPaglia. It's one of those comedies that you can quote a lot, incessantly sometimes. There are a few extras on there, but it is quite an early Blu-ray from TriStar Pictures, which shows you how old it is. It's from the 1990s. Yeah, I'll probably watch that and enjoy it. Mike Myers before he went totally off the rails. So I got that for a couple of bucks. Well worth it. Now, this one I haven't seen, but I hear good things about it. Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike. I've got a few Afflecks in this for some reason. Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike, directed by David Fincher, Gone Girl. I got that for a couple of bucks. I pretty much know what it's about, so there isn't any real surprise there, but I haven't seen it. And I do like Fincher's stuff. Not too many extras on this. It's a pretty bare bones version of Gone Girl. But again, it's a Fincher movie, and I do like his stuff, so I'm going to watch that. I was a bit surprised I didn't already have a copy of this one. I thought I'd at least have a DVD. But I checked the database before I bought this, and I didn't. 1960s classic Western with a little twist. It's even got Ted Cassidy in it. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Redford and Newman together. Great film to rewatch. It's even got a music video interlude in it. It's got that beautiful freeze-frame ending that everybody either loves or hates. Let's have a look at it inside. Nothing in there apart from the disc. And this one looks like it's an early Blu-ray, and they're starting to get cheaper as people upgrade to HDR and 4K. These are starting to appear on the thrift store market, and it's worth getting them if you can. If you don't already have a copy of them, getting a few classic movies like that on Blu-ray for a buck or two each is always going to be a good buy for you. This one I got because I was on a bit of a Statham binge. And it's a remake of, from my money, a better film, even though it was directed by Michael Winner, the original. Jason Statham and Ben Foster in The Mechanic. There is a sequel to this one as well, which there wasn't to the first one. Either this or the sequel were filmed in Sydney, Australia. It's about an assassin called Arthur Bishop, who takes on an apprentice played by Ben Foster, and things go a bit ropey from there. I don't remember much about it. I know I've seen it once, maybe on a streaming service. But it's got a lot of explosions, and there are times when you just need a movie that's got a lot of action, a lot of stunt people, and a lot of explosions. There's something cathartic about that after you've been watching a few heavier movies, just to see a bang, bang, boom, boom movie. So I've got that. This one, I don't know why I bought it. It's the worst of its franchise. By far, Terminator Genisys. They didn't even spell Genesis right. This is the one where they changed a whole bunch of the mythology of the movie series and the timeline of it, and totally stuffed it up. Emilia Clarke playing Sarah Connor in it. You got Arnie back again. Part of the Arnie is CG enhanced to make him look younger. I'm going to rewatch it because I watched it the first time and I wasn't really paying attention. Not the best in the series, definitely arguably the worst, except for the possibility of Terminator 3. You could have a fairly good discussion on whether it's as bad as this one. They're not great. Not great at all. This one I got even though I don't like Ridley Scott. Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Jodie Comer, and Ben Affleck again. Ben Affleck Blu-rays are turning up in op shops at a scary rate. This is probably the only movie where you're going to get Matt Damon wearing a chin beard. The Last Duel. I've heard horrible things about it. And there's Affleck. I mean, that rug on Affleck there is probably one of the better Affleck rugs as far as I can tell. Medieval adventure. It's got that really weird thing where Ridley Scott does epic battle scenes that are totally unaffecting. I know nothing about it apart from the fact that it's got swords and armor and people dressing up funny. I'm going to give it a go and just see what it is. I always find Ridley Scott movies emotionally unaffecting, and I don't think this one's going to be any different. And while we're on the subject of people whose movies are unaffecting emotionally, Roland Emmerich, we've got Stephen Strait in 10,000 BC. A lot of CG prehistoric monsters. Stephen Strait went on to better things when he starred in The Expanse. Again, this is one of those meathead action movies that I'm going to enjoy just by the fact that it's a meathead action movie. I'm going to sit back and watch it and just go, yeah, I watched it. And then add it to my Letterboxd list, which I'm going to post a link to down here. Here's how you look at my Letterboxd list, which will sometimes tell you which movies I'm going to be covering in the near future. Yeah, I got that for a couple of bucks. Who else is in this? Camilla Bell, Cliff Curtis, the great New Zealand actor Cliff Curtis, who very rarely plays his own nationality. He very rarely plays a Māori in anything. So don't tell me who else is in there. Yeah, I'm going to watch that. Let's go to something much better. A movie that should be in your collection if you like comedy action films. And this one cost me $4 because the sticker's still on it. One of the great comedy action films of all time. So what do you think it is? I'll give you a couple of moments of thinking music so you can work it out. You're wrong. It's Kung Fu Hustle. Stephen Chow's Kung Fu Hustle. PlayStation 3 compatible, it says here. So there you go. This one you've got to see. It's fantastic. The action scenes are terrific. Fantastic Kung Fu action. It's really a joy from start to finish, this one. Next level action films for its time. Didn't have this one either, which I was a bit surprised by. But getting it for $4 is a definite yeah. And it's a good buy by anybody's reckoning. Kung Fu Hustle is just such a fun movie. This one I got and I watched. There is a previous TV adaptation of the original intellectual property, the original novel of this. But this version is pretty damn good as well. And I watched it and I enjoyed it a lot. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with Gary Oldman. I mean, the cast in this is, and he's trying to hold it up so you can see it. The cast in this is great. Colin Firth, Tom Hardy, John Hurt, Toby Jones, Mark Strong, Benedict Cumberbatch. This is a really good spy movie, and it's a good adaptation of the original novel. And even though a lot of people loved Alec Guinness playing George Smiley, I think that Gary Oldman's Smiley is at least as good. This one you've got to check out. It tells an incredibly complex story, labyrinthine in times. And it does it in a way that carries you through without going, what's this guy doing that for and who's this guy? The script and the direction are really on point for this kind of a complex story. And I really enjoyed rewatching this one not too long ago. And if that camera would focus, I'd be eternally grateful. I Am Legend with Will Smith. This one is not this is the third best version of this story. The first one is Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. Second one is The Omega Man with Charlton Heston. Third best version is this. Not great at all. The CGI zombies at the end of it are really poor. And there's an alternate theatrical version with controversial ending, it says, which means they didn't even know what they wanted the script to be. Lots of extras on this one because they're trying to excuse the kind of movie it is. But because I've got the other two, I thought I'd get that. This one, Spike Jonze joint. For children, mostly. Where the wild things are. I've heard some things about it. There's large monsters and kids. No, nothing about it apart from that. I hear it's good. Got some friends who swear by it. But again, I picked it up for $3. And I will sit down and watch it. There are a few special features which could be a lot of fun. But yeah, that one for $3 I am not unhappy with. And there are two things I bought full price. Like I told you, I'm on a Statham binge. And so I've got The Beekeeper. 100% pure Statham. Saw this in the cinema and loved it. I was in the mood for this kind of movie when I saw it. It's Jason Statham playing a guy called Adam Clay, who is the ultimate wet work guy for America. He doesn't even answer to the government. He's got a set of rules, and he has just retired from being the guy who protects the hive of America. And the new beekeeper takes over, and there are threats to him and also threats to the American government by a tech bro who has some very tight relations with the positions of power in the American government. And he's played by Josh Hutcherson. Good movie, great action scenes. The action scenes and the stunt work in this are fantastic. Kurt Wimmer wrote it, and it was directed by David Ayer, who did the worst version of Suicide Squad. But this is good. Enjoyed it a lot. Bare bones, nothing really there as far as your extras are concerned. But I like Beekeeper enough to get a copy of it. So I'm going to enjoy that again. The last thing I had to go overseas for because Disney aren't releasing physical media in Australia anymore because they are very much a bunch of see you next Tuesdays. The Creator. Good film. Fantastic film, in fact. Really interesting science fiction. It works well. This is a movie I saw with my nephew Billy last year. Directed by Gareth Edwards. Got a slipcover for it, which doesn't look any different from the other thing. And I'm trying to keep copies of the movies that I see with my nephew each year and get physical media copies of it. And I had to go overseas for this. I used some Amazon affiliate credits I had to get this one. I think it's from the UK or Germany or somewhere way across the water. I think it may be even the German copy of it. But I had to get a copy of it because it's part of what I've got and it's part of me seeing movies and passing it on to the next generation of my family. So I got that one and I'm happy I got it. Wonderful special effects and done in a really innovative way. The extras on there are going to tell you how innovative the special effects are. And they did it in a very innovative way that makes them look incredibly realistic. I'm going to go through some of the 4Ks I've got now. I like a good 4K, even like a bad 4K occasionally. These ones I got because I wanted to get at least the first 4 of this series on 4K. And I got them all at various times where I got like buy 2, get 1 free or 30% off, those kind of deals at JB Hi-Fi. Got Star Trek The Motion Picture, which isn't great, but looks great on HDR on the 4K. Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan, which is arguably the best Star Trek movie. And Star Trek 3 The Search for Spock. I'm probably going to get 4 on 4K when I get a chance to. But I don't know if I want to get 5, because 5 is the one that Shatner directed. And the script is shit. So I've got those 3, and I'm happy I've got those. And I think I will stop at 4. I may get The Undiscovered Country on 4K maybe at some stage. But I'm going to skip 5 because I really don't like that movie. I think it's cringily bad. Then I got this because I picked it up, again, buy 2, get 1 free. And this was the free one. I already had these on Blu-ray. And as you know, I'm collecting all of the Marvel movies. So I got the Iron Man the 3 movie collection on 4K. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and Iron Man 3. The wonderful Shane Black one from Iron Man 3. Watched them all about a week and a half ago. And to be honest with you, I didn't mind them. It was interesting going back to 2008 and seeing the start of the MCU and the enormous bombastic monster that became the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the early stages, and where they kind of weren't sure what they were going to do and where they were going to take it, and they were just tentatively foreshadowing the future of the MCU. It was great to see it on 4K. That looks crisp as hell. In fact, it looked better than some of the times I saw them in the cinemas, because some cinemas have really shit bulbs in it and they're not quite in focus, but this was perfect. And I enjoyed watching those 3 again. I will pass on my Blu-ray versions of these to a charity store at some stage. I'm kind of glad I got them. It's a lot more compact than the 3 disc editions that I've got. And it was fun to see that and just see how Robert Downey Jr. grew in the role of Tony Stark. I think that Terrence Howard really had the wrong take on Rhodey, and it was good when Don Cheadle took over. But I think it's interesting just watching the evolution of Robert Downey Jr. doing Stark and understanding the character more in each of the 3 movies. And Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie as well, so got those and enjoyed those. This is one of the movies that I enjoyed. Did I see it last year or this year? I think I may have seen it this year. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a direct sequel to the first movie of this character in the 1960s. Wonka, Paul King's Wonka, with Timothée Chalamet and Hugh Grant playing an Oompa Loompa. It's got a great supporting cast in there as well. You've got Keegan-Michael Key in there, Patterson Joseph, Matt Lucas, Jim Carter, Olivia Colman. Paul King does this kind of movie better than anybody else working at the moment. He did Paddington 1 and Paddington 2, and Paddington 2 is arguably the best feel-good movie of all time. And I will have a discussion about that in the comments if you want to. There are a few extras on there, but Middle-Aged Geek Girl and I saw Wonka and we loved it. And so I got that on 4K. I've also got the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory on 4K. So it's good that I can kind of match those two up. Let's see what else we've got here. Yeah, I'll go do that last. Picked this one up again. It was one of those buy two, get one free deals. Didn't have a copy of it in any physical medium. Directed by Stuart Rosenberg. Cool Hand Luke with Paul Newman. Strother Martin. George Kennedy got an Oscar for his Best Supporting Actor for his role in there. Who else is in there? J.D. Cannon, Lou Antonio, Joe Van Fleet, Robert Drivers. Haven't seen this in a very long time, but I wanted a decent copy of it. I would have even settled for, say, a Blu-ray or even a reasonable DVD of it. But I saw it in 4K. There was a sale on, so I picked up Cool Hand Luke. Definitely going to watch and enjoy that one. Fantastic film. I upgraded my Tarantino again. I've got Pulp Fiction already on 4K, but I did get Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But some people loved, some people hated it. I loved it. I kind of groove on the 1960s vibe of this kind of movie. Maybe if I hold them there, I may stay in focus. That might work. I love the evocation of Los Angeles in 1967. I like the alternate universe aspect of it as well. DiCaprio was rarely better than in this film. Margot Robbie's fantastic. Brad Pitt's character is great, and you can believe that Brad Pitt's character can beat up Bruce Lee. He has an edge to him, which is really interesting. But yeah, I like the change in real history, moving this movie into the Tarantino-verse. And Tarantino is changing what his last movie is going to be. He's given up on the movie critic and he's doing something else. For my money, he should lean into his movies being set in an alternate universe and just cap the whole thing off with something really big. That would be my advice on it, but Quentin Tarantino is not going to take my advice. There are a lot of extras, including 7 additional scenes that aren't in any other medium. I'm going to hold it there. 7 additional scenes. You've got HDR on this. Haven't watched it on 4K yet, but I'm going to. Then we've got Kinji Fukasaku's classic from, I think, about 2000. Battle Royale. I got the 4K from Arrow. Battle Royale blew me away when I first saw it on VHS. About a whole class of school kids get taken to an island and are told to hunt each other. Their teacher is played by Beat Takeshi Kitano, who is a great teacher, and he demonstrates the nature of their situation in a very evocative way in this film. I haven't seen this in about a decade, but I'm inclined to put it at the top of the list for a rewatch. It is one of those action films that doesn't pull its punch one tiny bit. So I'm going to watch that and I'm going to enjoy it all over again. And there are a ton of extras. There's a 4K special edition in here, the original theatrical version, and a special limited edition, a special edition director's cut. It's going to be hard to work out which one to watch first. Arrow have really chucked everything together for this one out of respect for the movie. Going to enjoy that. And again, it's one I picked up fairly cheaply because I keep my eyes open. Lastly, we've got the only Criterion I've got on 4K. A Scorsese film that doesn't ever get enough love. Griffin Dunne, Rosanna Arquette, Terry Gale, Linda Fiorentino, Catherine O'Hara and John Hurt. After Hours, a nightmarish vision of New York in the, I think it's the 1990s or the 80s. Yeah, I want to see this one again. And why not get it on 4K with a Criterion edition? This one's got the usual thing where you get a booklet. Got 2 discs in there as well. Let me see what's in the discs. Tons of extras. Audio commentary features Scorsese, Thelma Schumacher, who did the editing, DP Michael Ballhaus, Griffin Dunne, and producer Amy Robinson. There's a documentary about the making of the film. This is a Criterion edition, so it's got more information than you ever going to want about this movie. I haven't seen this probably this century, and I'm wanting. And I'm glad I got a copy of it. I did spend my pocket money on this one, but I'm glad I did. I think it's a great film, and I'm going to enjoy rewatching it. Probably I should put most of these 4Ks in front of the TV and just not move until I've watched a number of them. So that's it for the haul I've got at the moment. Lots of interesting things. Some cheap, some not so cheap, but all of them quirky as hell, with the possible exception of the Will Smith movie. So thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let me know if you want to see more hauls when I get them. I don't often get a lot of feedback about the hauls, but I'd really like to know if people want me to keep doing them. Do the comments. If you can't think of anything to comment, just chuck in an emoji. You can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or by becoming a patron at patreon.com/CherryTalksMovies, where you do get some extras now and then. Next up, I've got the Wednesday video, and I don't know what I'm doing for that yet, but I will figure something out. I've got a bit of an idea. Might do that Belgian-based action film series that nobody knows about. So until then, watch some good movies, watch some bad movies, watch some cheap movies, watch some not so cheap movies, watch some DVDs, watch some HDR 4Ks, and I'll catch you next time.